March 8, 2014, a day that began with hope and routine, but would go down in history as one of the most haunting mysteries in aviation. Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 departed Kuala Lumpur International Airport at 12:41 a.m., bound for Beijing. On board were 239 people, each carrying their own stories, dreams, and plans for the future. Among them were a young couple returning from their honeymoon, a father eager to reunite with his children, and a group of Chinese artists heading to a cultural exhibition. The passengers came from 14 different countries, with the majority being Chinese nationals. For these individuals, this was a flight like any other, a step toward home, opportunity, or adventure. The Boeing 777-200ER was one of the safest and most advanced aircraft in the world, boasting a near-flawless safety record. Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, a seasoned pilot with over 18,000 flight hours, was at the helm. Alongside him was First Officer Fariq Abdul Hamid, a promising aviator on his final training flight. Together, they formed a highly experienced team, entrusted with the lives of everyone on board. At 12:41 a.m., Flight MH370 lifted off from Kuala Lumpur's runway and climbed steadily to its cruising altitude of 35,000 feet. The first 40 minutes of the flight were uneventful. Passengers settled into their seats, some watching in-flight entertainment, others falling asleep. Flight attendants moved through the cabin, serving refreshments and ensuring everyone was comfortable. Meanwhile, the cockpit crew maintained routine communications with air traffic control, confirming their position and altitude. At 1:19 a.m., Captain Zahari made what would become his final transmission to air traffic control. "Good night, Malaysian 370. Just 2 minutes later, at 1:21 a.m., the plane's transponder stopped transmitting, cutting off all communication with civilian radar. The plane seemed to vanish from the skies. However, military radar later revealed that MH370 had made a sharp turn westward, crossing back over the Malaysian peninsula. It flew into the Andaman Sea, performing what appeared to be deliberate maneuvers. For 6 more hours, the aircraft continued to send automated satellite pings to an Inmarsat satellite orbiting 35,000 kilometers above Earth. These pings provided the only clues to its location, indicating the plane had traveled south into the vast and remote Indian Ocean. At 8:19 a.m., the final ping was received. Then, silence. MH370 had disappeared without a trace. The disappearance of Flight MH370 triggered an international search effort on an unprecedented scale. Initially, search teams scoured the South China Sea, the plane's expected flight path. Dozens of ships, planes, and satellites combed the area, but no debris was found. The lack of physical evidence frustrated investigators and devastated families who waited anxiously for updates. Then, a breakthrough came in the form of satellite data. Analysts at Inmarsat used advanced mathematical modeling to determine that the plane had likely taken a southern route into the Indian Ocean. This revelation shifted the search to one of the most remote and challenging regions on Earth. The Indian Ocean is vast, with depths exceeding 7,000 meters in some areas. Its powerful currents and shifting sands made the search extraordinarily difficult. Over 26 countries contributed resources to the operation, deploying sonar-equipped ships, unmanned submarines, and satellite imaging. The search area covered 120,000 square kilometers, an expanse larger than South Korea. Despite months of searching, no debris was located during this initial phase. On July 29, 2015, more than a year after the disappearance, a piece of debris washed ashore on Reunion Island, a small French territory in the Indian Ocean. The flaperon, part of the plane's wing, was confirmed to belong to MH370. For the families of the passengers, this discovery was bittersweet. It confirmed the unthinkable, that the plane had crashed. But it also raised new questions. How had the debris traveled so far from the suspected crash site? And what did it reveal about the plane's final moments? Over the next several years, additional fragments were found along the coasts of Mozambique, Madagascar, and South Africa. These included cabin panels, engine components, and wing parts. Each piece offered critical clues, but raised more questions than answers. Why was so little debris recovered? What could these fragments tell us about the cause of the crash? Theories about MH370's disappearance are as varied as they are compelling. One of the most debated involves pilot involvement. Radar data showing deliberate course changes has led some to believe that Captain Zahari intentionally diverted the flight. Supporters of this theory point to alleged personal struggles and political motives. Though no concrete evidence supports these claims, investigators found nothing unusual in Zahari's personal or professional life, leaving the theory unproven but persistent. Another possibility is mechanical failure. Could a sudden fire or cabin depressurization event have incapacitated the crew and passengers? In such a scenario, the plane might have continued flying on autopilot until it ran out of fuel. While this theory explains the lack of communication, it raises critical questions. Why was there no distress signal, and what caused the initial deviation from the flight path? Hijacking is another theory that has been extensively explored. Could someone on board have seized control of the aircraft? Investigators scrutinized the passenger manifest and found 2 individuals traveling with stolen passports. However, these individuals were later determined to be asylum seekers with no ties to terrorism. No credible evidence of a hijacking has surfaced, and no group has claimed responsibility. Then there are the unconventional theories, ideas that spark the imagination but lack scientific credibility. Some propose that MH370 was the target of a secret military operation, possibly shot down to prevent it from entering restricted airspace. Others suggest extraterrestrial abduction or even a black hole. While these ideas are intriguing, they remain speculative and unsupported by evidence. Each theory is met with counter-arguments. The pilot involvement theory is challenged by Zahari's impeccable record and lack of motive. Mechanical failure, while plausible, doesn't explain the plane's deliberate maneuvers. Hijacking remains speculative without credible evidence, and supernatural explanations are widely dismissed by experts. Advances in technology have reignited hope of solving the mystery. High-resolution sonar mapping has revealed previously uncharted areas of the Indian Ocean, including underwater mountains and volcanic formations. Satellite analysis continues to refine potential search zones, narrowing the vastness of the ocean. Some believe the answers lie in the black boxes, which record crucial flight data and cockpit communications. However, recovering these devices from the immense depths of the Indian Ocean remains a daunting challenge. For the families of the 239 people on board, the lack of answers has been devastating. Parents, spouses, and children have spent years demanding transparency and pushing for continued search efforts. Their grief highlights the profound human cost of this tragedy, a loss that transcends statistics. The disappearance of Flight MH370 is more than just an aviation mystery. It's a haunting reminder of the vastness of our world and the limits of human understanding. Was it human error, mechanical failure, or something beyond our comprehension? The truth may still be out there, waiting to be uncovered. Until then, MH370 remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of our time, a story that continues to captivate and confound the world.